welcoming Congressman Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana. He's also a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, great to have you with us today. And first off, your reaction to today's Supreme Court ruling.
We're overjoyed. A 6-3 opinion is decisive. We think that it's a long time coming. You know, if you have to ask the state for permission to exercise a right, it's not really a right at all. And I think what the court did today is affirm what we've been saying for a long time. You shouldn't have to prove to the state some sort of special reason or, quote, proper cause, as they said, the defendant said in this case, in order to exercise the Second Amendment, to carry a firearm. You know, that the right to defend yourself and your family is fundamental and it is inalienable, and the court has said that decisively today.
And obviously, President Biden has come out and said he's deeply disappointed. He's mentioned it before and said that the Second Amendment is not absolute. What is your reaction coming from the Biden White House today on the Constitution, and how concerned are you?
President Biden clearly has a disdain for our constitutional rights, our fundamental freedoms. I mean, remember, he infamously said just a few weeks back he'd like to confiscate all of our 9mm handguns. I mean, this is one of the most commonly held handguns for self-protection, primarily, that the American people have, law-abiding citizens. So they have a zeal, really, a quest, a goal to disarm the populace. There's really no other way to say that. It's a political ideology that drives them, and they have no regard for the Constitution at all. And he proves that over and over. And I think that's the American people are waking up to this. I think they've had enough of it, and I think that's why we're going to have a big red wave election in the fall, for example, because they're tired of the radical left just steamrolling over our constitutional rights.
And obviously, too, when it comes to the midterms, the economy will be a huge factor as well. We know gas prices, in many polls, people have cited that it is reasons why they vote. Congressman, I want to ask you about Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. As you heard, I'm sure you're aware of, he split with the Biden administration's inflation narrative. Of course, they're saying it's Putin's price hike that's driving the crisis. And here's his comments yesterday. Let's listen and get your reaction.
Given how inflation has escalated over the past 18 months, would you say that the war in Ukraine is the primary driver of inflation in America?
No, inflation was high before, certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out.
I'm glad to hear you say that. The Biden administration seems to be intent on deflecting blame, and as recently as just this past Sunday, spread the misinformation that Putin's invasion of Ukraine is the, quote, biggest single driver of inflation. I'm glad you agree with me that that is not the truth.
So yeah, there you have it, Congressman. He's not going to push that theory either. Obviously, Powell's in a very precarious position now, trying to thread the needle. Well, many say we're already in a recession, but he's not in a great position either. And now you have him saying it's not because of Putin. What do you make of his comments?
Well, Chairman Powell had to say that because it's an objective fact that anyone can, with a simple internet search, can find and recognize. Inflation began to rise dramatically as soon as President Biden took office. It is the result of his policies. It is directly tied to this administration and what they've done with the economy. By the way, the Fed does not evade all responsibility either. Chairman Powell's made some big mistakes along the way as well. But these are the facts. This is reality. The American people can see it for themselves. They feel inflation acutely at the gas tank, when they fill their cars up, when they go to buy groceries for their families. And there's going to be a price to pay at the election cycle for this as well. And it's a long time coming.
Yeah, and we want to ask you, too, about, obviously the SCOTUS ruling today focused on guns, the big one. Obviously, there were several rulings. But as you know, you're well aware, we're waiting for the ruling on Mississippi's abortion law. And we're seeing threats of violence, and they seem to be very serious and emboldened. Jane's Revenge, a group announcing a night of rage after the decision comes down, and the decision could be tomorrow. Why do you think we haven't seen a stronger response from the Biden DOJ?
It's absolutely outrageous and inexcusable. They are endangering the lives of the Supreme Court justices and their families. the protesters are lawless criminals. They are that because they're in direct violation of federal statutes, as we have pointed out over and over. On the House Judiciary Committee, where I serve, we have prevailed upon the Department of Justice, Attorney General Merrick Garland, to simply enforce the law. It is necessary to maintain order, and they will not do it. I'm a constitutional law attorney. I litigated federal court cases and pro-life cases for 20 years before I got to Congress. This is a long time coming. This is almost a 50-year egregious error that the court made in Roe v. Wade. We are on the cusp of having the power returned to the people and their elected representatives, where that decision always lied with regard to abortion law. And it's outrageous for these radical leftist groups to threaten the lives of the jurists simply because they're going to finally apply faithfully the simple language of the Constitution. There is no constitutional right to abortion. It never existed. And 49 years ago, the court invented it out of thin air. We got to correct that wrong. And in the meantime, we have to maintain law and order, and we need the Department of Justice to do its job.
Well stated, and obviously we just we brace for tomorrow's possible ruling and hope that it does not, we do not see violence. That is not something I think anyone would like to see. Congressman Mike Johnson of Louisiana, thank you so much for being with us today. We certainly appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Good to talk to you.